There are a few items in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree that allow you to change forms completely, known as dragon forms. To obtain the dragon forms, you have to complete a simple yet demanding questline that culminates with you defeating the dread dragon Bayle.
Bayle! Vile Bayle!
Yep, that's the one. Bayle is waiting at the top of the Jagged Peak, an area you can only access by completing the Dragon Pit dungeon before jumping into the giant hole at the end. We have a full breakdown of how to get there in our How to Access Jagged Peak video. But before you go to Jagged Peak, you need to find the Domain of Dragon's painting. It's in Shadow Keep, down a secret ladder next to the main drawbridge, and behind a waterfall. This is also on the path to finding the Abyssal Woods region, but we can save that for another video. Once you've arrived in Jagged Peak, the Dragon Priestess here at the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion will ask if you want to devour Draconic Essence, a proposal any sane person would of course say yes to, and she'll tell you about Bayle. She'll mention that to slay him and consume his heart would be the truest form of communion.
I will soon feast upon your heart!
See? Everyone's on board. To find Bayle, you'll need to head around the area north and then east following the sunken path in the rocks as you go. You'll pass several spirit springs on the way, and even encounter lesser dragons that you can choose to fight or save for another time. Although, if you want Egon, the screaming man from before, to join you for the Bayle fight, you'll need to defeat the pair of dueling dragons before speaking to him on the eastern side of the canyon. As you continue on, the first heart that allows you to change forms, the Rock Heart, is further along on this path, close to the boss arena. It's the location shown at the Domain of Dragon's painting. Eventually, you'll come to Bayle.
Vile Bayle!
Okay, I promise, that's the last one. Bayle's no pushover, and you'll need to make yourself familiar with all of his biting, lunging, and breath attacks, as they can be hard to avoid until you're used to the timing. In Phase 1, look out for when he quickly leaps away, as he'll probably follow up with an arena-wide tail swipe you'll have to roll through. Once he reaches Phase 2, he'll do a large AoE attack, and then start flying around the arena while shooting flame lightning bolts at you. Just keep running in a direction and you should avoid most of these. Much of his kit is similar in Phase 2, except that many of his attacks have a secondary explosion you'll have to get used to. Once Bayle is done for, now you can return to the Dragon Communion Priestess, or at least, where she used to be. In her place, you'll find her heart, and a new weapon. Both the Rock Heart before and the Priestess Heart are how you obtain the dragon forms, but in order to use them, you have to take off all of your armor pieces. Once you're naked, use the heart like you would any other item, and you'll obtain that dragon form. These dragon forms offer some different stat boosts. They both boost your defense and resistances, but the rock dragon form prioritizes the former, while the priestess form prioritizes the latter. But keep in mind, these boosts are in comparison to your character without any armor on, so it may or may not be beneficial, depending on your build. What is beneficial is that while in these new forms, if you use the items again, you'll get a boost to certain incantations. Dragon Communion incantations for the Rock Heart, and Dragon Cult incantations for the Priestess Heart. Note that this doesn't actually consume these items. They'll stay in your inventory and you can use them anytime you like. But the only way to go back to your original form is to die. And that's our quick breakdown of the dragon forms in Shadow of the Erdtree. There's also a Lamenter's mask, but we'll go over that in a separate video. If you want a fun role-playing guide, make sure to check out this video on making the best Belmont from the Castlevania series. And for everything else Elden Ring, keep it right here on IGN.